And what are the odds? You see this back here behind me? It says Drug Emporium. What do you think of that, Mr. Jump, Mr. Eric, Mr. Seimetz, Mr. Bromagen? Look at that. This is bringing back my old memories from college days, and this is where I started my retail career. That's right. Headquartered originally in Ohio, Powell, Ohio, outside of Columbus, I find a Drug Emporium store here in Little Rock, Arkansas. Must be one of the old franchisees. We're going to Scooby-Doo inside this place. Check it out. See how it relates to the other Drug Emporiums from many years past when I worked there in the 1990s before I started my company. Retail Nomad, Little Rock, Arkansas, Drug Emporium.
The Retail Nomad, traveling the globe, sharing what the retail environment is like, hidden corners of the world.
Here I jumped across the street just to give you a better view of this plaza named Ashley Square. You see Drug Emporium right near the corner of the intersection, two main thoroughfares, nicely positioned from the real estate perspective. You also see TJ Maxx, there you go, Mr. Ryan, and Dollar Tree, Mr. Tim. There you go. Follow along as we roll inside Drug Emporium, bringing back some of those old memories. As to me, this is going to be a thank you video for everyone that taught me the retail industry. I worked at Drug Emporium back in the very early 90s during my college years, and cut my teeth on what the retail sector involves and requires. As ultimately, about 10 years after I left, they ended up filing bankruptcy and partially being sold to Snyder Drugs out of Minnesota. So a few year run, and then a number of the folks that helped train me, guide me, educate me, give a kudos to here within this video. But very excited to see and find a franchisee still remaining from the Drug Emporium days from years past. And one thing I immediately noticed was this green section, if you look at the perimeter wall area back there, and it's called the Vitamins Plus area. Much different than what we had 30 years back, as I really resonated with this section. A lot of holistic, alternative, natural solutions, as they had everything ranging from, you just look at all the products, colloidal silver, ACV, apple cider vinegar, herbs, and so forth, and it's attached right next, to the standard product mix that you would find in a national mainstream pharmacy drugstore. I was very impressed with the fronting of the product and the merchandise. If you just look how neatly organized, this store looks and represents itself. And here I jetted over to the cosmetics section. And still carrying the name brand, national, CoverGirl, Coty, L'Oreal, and they always did a good job representing some of the major labels, blending with some soft lines and some sunglass spinner racks here as nice high ticket promotional margins, as well as these promotional end caps. And again, take note on the neatness of this store location. I jumped in here right before closing. You can tell that the management runs a very tight ship at this store. Similar to what I learned back years ago with Mr. John Ridgway or Gail Thompson. I jumped over to the candy section to see if they was still carrying Bloomer candy, and I understand that they are no longer part of the mix, but bringing back some old names from years past. One thing that I was very much impressed on was the maintenance of this store location. Here I am picking up a little some products here in the mouth rinse area. But take note on the lights overhead, the cleanliness of the floor. This is straight out of the textbook from Mr. Flanigan, how to cross T's and dot I's and run a tight ship here. Again, I'd stopped in right before closing, but this store is immaculate, right? If you compare this to the two largest nationwide pharmacy retailers, much different representation on what you see here in this store, which just speaks volume to this franchisee owner. They own a handful of stores. Looks like they're headquartered out of the Longmont, Texas area, with a handful of stores peppered between Texas and Arkansas. So kudos to this team here. And here I jetted over to one of the more popular aisles in the store, the candy section. Russell Stover's there, new packaging on the left with Whitman's chocolates. Those were always a favorite from the clientele of Drug Emporium. And then over here you got Old Pepperidge Farms. I haven't heard that name in years. And Cheez-It crackers, everybody's familiar with, but very popular aisle here. And here I just found myself mesmerized, zigzagging through the different product categories. You got, Revlon hair dryers here, well-known major CPG labels. You got Gillette razor section. We always spend a lot of time merchandising and filling up the product mix. Mr. Brad Reese, it looked like they carried a number of your Reese Cup products up front here on the check stand registers, as I even scooped me up some goods. But very impressive store location. Wrapping up this vid, a big thanks to Drug Emporium for helping me learn the retail sector as I opened up my very first company, October of 1994. I will say, this trip inside Drug Emporium was truly a blast from the past. Brought back those old memories from just out of college, working with all the folks, Mr. Timothy Nethers and all the people in Heath, Ohio. That's right. Retail Nomad, closing out this week's video in Little Rock, Arkansas, where I found that there's multiple stores between here and Texarkana. Drug Emporium, little franchisee operation, and I got to tell you, I was very impressed with the merchandising. Everything was fronted. It looked neat. It looked much more organized than the other nationwide pharmacy brands that you're probably very familiar with. Drug Emporium Retail Nomad, Little Rock, Arkansas. Ciao.
Stay tuned to the Retail Nomad, as each week we'll be profiling different types of shopping experiences around the world. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Ciao.